Experienced business people often know how to prepare. They research the market, they analyze the opportunities, they build strategies, they make logical decisions. But sometimes even experienced professionals misunderstand China, not because their logic is wrong, but because they are reading the right signals through the wrong system. For example, you have a meeting with a Chinese partner. The discussion goes well, everyone seems positive. When they ask, what do you think? You share your professional opinions and you leave thinking, okay, great, we are moving forward. But 2 weeks later, the next step is unclear. The decision slows down and you start asking, what exactly happened? Many people explain the situation like this. Maybe they don't like the direct feedback, but that explanation is often too simple. The deeper issue is, you may have understood the words, but missed the function of the conversation. You assume they ask for my opinion because they want my analysis, and sometimes they do, but sometimes the conversation is answering a different question. Are we ready to move forward together? Have you ever had a China business conversation that felt successful, but somehow nothing happened afterwards? I'd love to hear your experience. In many business environments, communication is mainly about exchanging information. Someone asks, what do you think? The purpose is, I want your professional judgment. So naturally, you focus on giving the best answer. But in many Chinese business situations, conversation has another important function. It is also building confidence before a decision happens. The hidden questions would be, can we work together when problems happen? Can we solve issues together? Can we trust the cooperation enough to take a next step? Because in business, a decision doesn't only depend on information, it also depends on uncertainty. And this is exactly the problem China OS focused on. Because working with China is nothing about just translating the language. It is about diagnosing the invisible factors behind business signals. The important question isn't only what did they say, the more important question is what does the signal mean inside their decision system. This connects to a very important Chinese concept called 关系. Many people translate it as the relationship, but that translation is very incomplete because in business, 关系 is not mainly about friendship, it's not about personal favors, it's about reducing uncertainty in cooperation. When two companies consider working together, they're not only asking, is this opportunity attractive? They're also asking, can we depend on each other when things getting difficult? Uncertainty has a business cost. When uncertainty stays high, people share less information. Communication becomes slower, and opportunities become much harder to capture. So many China business problems don't start with bad strategies. They start with the invisible signal being misunderstood. You thought the conversation was about the idea, but the other side may have been evaluating trust, alignment, and readiness. That is why I created China Signal Snapshot. It's a practical diagnosis for people working with China. It helps you answer 3 questions. What actually happened in this interaction? What might be happening beneath the surface? What should I do differently to reduce uncertainty and move forward? Before making a better China decision, you need to understand the signals that are already around you.